What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Heart to Heart DFS, and today we have another NBA slate breakdown on DraftKings. But today is just a showdown slate as it's one game, the Grizzlies versus the Timberwolves. So if you're new to the channel, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do make content on daily NBA slate breakdowns for DraftKings as well as daily NBA prize pick videos. So if you guys do like that, make sure to follow me, give me a like, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter as well, HeartDFS. I put up those prize pick plays, some extra plays as well. We've done well on prize picks the past 3 days, especially the past two. We're 7 out of 9, so stay tuned for the video later today. But yeah, definitely make sure to follow me out there. Ask any questions you might have, and let's get into the showdown slate for today. If you're new to the showdown slates, you can pick a captain. The captain costs 1.5 times more salary than the other guys, so the utility guys. So it comes down to who you want to put in the captain spot because they earn 1.5 times the fantasy points as well. So it just, comes down to, do you want to play, one of the top guys? And if you do, then that doesn't leave you too much to be able to put in some other top guys from either the same team or the other team. So if you want to do like John Cat, then you're only left with 5,300 left over, and it's really hard to get guys like, let's say, BANE or Edwards, because then you're left to, 1,650 left over, and then you're left to guys who pretty much don't play. So it just comes down to trying to put the most optimal captain in the most optimal captain, and then try to get as many guys in the utility spot that are going to play well. So, I mean, you could definitely, if get a guy like Ja, Towns, Anthony Edwards, BANE in the captain spot, as they're almost, the top three are obviously the most optimal and most likely to do well. But, you can get, a little less optimal, but, less ownership for captains. The guys like Edwards, Baines, Russell could be one of those guys, he could get you 40 something fantasy points, and that, paying down, for about $5,000 less than Ja for Russell does allow you to put in more star players in these utility spots. So that's kind of just the, what route you want to go. I usually like to get riskier because then if you do end up hitting the plays, you'll most likely take down all the money to yourself instead of sharing it with, guys who just jam in all the star players in the captain spot. So for today, I really like, BANE and Russell. They're both guys that are playing a ton of minutes. Bane's had 3 straight games of, back-to-back 40-plus point fantasy point games. He's shooting the ball a ton more, which you do like to see. He's a good shooter. Last game he got 3 blocks, 2 steals, so that's extra 10 fantasy points right there. So he would have been at 32 if he didn't get those. But he usually gets you about like a steal a game is his average, a little bit more. Usually not too high in the blocks. He can get you like 1 or 2 a game here and there, but it's a little bit riskier to go with him. I do think I'd probably prefer Russell just because he could have a good shooting game. He's going to get you those floors of 7+ assists. Can get you steals as well, as he's averaging 1 a game. Can get you 3 or 4 if he's having a good defensive game. But he's going to get you those rebounds as well. It just comes down to the shooting. He doesn't shoot it a ton, but if he is and he's hitting his shots, he can get you 20+ points, which would definitely get you into the 40s fantasy point range as well. So that would really help out. So I think as of right now, Russell's my favorite play, followed by BANE and then Edwards. Obviously, you can put John Morant and Towns in the captain spot, but I think I'm going to go with either Russell, BANE, or Edwards. I'd give the advantage to Russell and then Edwards and then BANE. It's kind of my order of how I want to go that route. Brandon Clarke is, he could be a dart throw. Obviously, he had 47 fantasy points last game, 21 and 15. I mean, I don't think you can expect that. Played 37 minutes. He was usually playing around 30 before then. Obviously, he's done really well in this series coming off the bench. He closed last game. So, I mean, he's a guy you could definitely take a shot on, but I think it's a little bit risky just because he's kind of up and down when it comes to his offensive production. Jaren Jackson Jr. is another guy you could take a dart throw on. He's always floating around 30 fantasy points. Maybe this is the game he doesn't foul out or get, in foul trouble every quarter. So you could look to that, but I think I probably want to go there. Neither with Brooks. I mean, these are guys you can just play in the utility spot, but as of right now, I'd say this is kind of what I'm looking forward to is Russell and the captain. You're going to have you can get away with playing BANE, but I think you do need to have Ja as the main engine on the Memphis side. Towns, been, back-to-back good games. He's been in foul trouble pretty much every game as well. I think I'd prefer getting to Edwards. Low, not as safe as a floor, but he can, hasn't done much peripheral stat-wise, 4 and 4, then he went down to 1 and 0. When it comes to rebounds, assists, he got 22 points, but didn't do anything other than that. He's a guy that's also getting the steal game, kind of his floor for the peripheral stats, but did hit the point-wise. So I do like him as a pivot off of Karl Towns. Does it leave you with 5,500 left over? So you can definitely fit in guys like TYUS Jones coming off the bench about 20 minutes, has done well for another guy on the Memphis side. And then you can force in a guy like BANE, and that leaves you with like 3,100 left over. You can put in a guy like Melton, even though he didn't really play. McDaniels playing about 15 to 20 minutes, doesn't do too much. And so that's what it comes down to, just figuring out what guys are going to come off the bench and get you those minutes to put in the utility, because it makes you able to spend up for the star players, if that makes sense. So right now you can fit 3/4 stars in with the putting a lower salary captain in like Russell, and that does help you have a more safer floor when it comes to the fantasy points. And once again, the captain gets 1.5 fantasy points than normal. So if he's obviously scored fifth, I think it's 1.5 fantasy points they score extra on top of their normal fantasy points, and it's normal fantasy point scoring. So everyone else, it's going to go with the same classic of, point is 1 fantasy point, steals and blocks are 2, assists are 1.5, stuff like that. Threes are an extra 0.5. And so this is the route I'm looking to go towards, is Russell the captain. Probably get Moran in there or Towns. And then you at least want to try to get 1 or 2 more stars in there. And then for the utility, you could put in a guy like McLaughlin, who played, it's been playing more minutes recently, 17, 14, 17, done well. It's just his minutes aren't secure. Zaire Williams probably won't play. Naz Reid did okay, 9 and 2. That's because Cat was in foul trouble. So it just comes down to if you, want to play one of these lower owned guys, high risk, high reward guys on the last utility spot, or you can take a guy like BANE and throw in someone like Jaren Jackson Jr., Brooks, or even Pat Beverley, 6,800. It has like the same floor and ceiling as Jackson Jr., maybe not as Brooks, but you can throw Pat Bev in there, and then you get 4,900, and you can throw a guy like Malik Beasley in there, who is either going to boom or bust. So that's kind of the route I'm looking for today. Definitely make sure to follow me on Twitter at HeartDFS for an updated kind of core-ish, you can call it, for today's Showdown Slate. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the support. And yeah, hopefully some of the stuff made sense and you guys can get the gist of, I'd say throw in a lower owned guy, lower salary guy on the captain spot, and then try to fit as many stars as you can in the utility spot. And then you want to get different with at least one utility play with the lower owned guy in case they do play well and it's going to set you apart and win you more money. So definitely make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys in a little bit for an NBA Prize Pick video. Peace.